So she answered a couple of the questions, and I thought I would just read them to you. And
Yeah,
then-
it's going to be very helpful. Hang on. Right, get your notes ready.
Okay, so
really-
how closely do you work with a director? Jessica's answer was, I detest directors. Do you have ambitions to direct? Why or why not? No, she wrote. What do you need around you to work? And she writes, porn. Are there any books you have around you when you're working? The Joy of Sex feels a little bit like the other question.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. I know.
Can you write anywhere? The answer is on paper and computers only. How do you define structure? I try not to, which is good. What are the key elements of a screenplay for you? Paper and ink, helpful.
Brat.
Yeah. How do you do research illegally, which I don't even understand. I have no idea what that means. Do you outline? What is your technique for outlining? I like to tape shapes on the floor. What do your first drafts look like? And then she writes with a little arrow, barf and marble and diamonds. And then the next question is, what must a first draft accomplish for you? And she writes, it must look like diamonds set in marble covered in barf. So those were the general questions that we
Helpful.
went through.
I
So
hope you
feel
took
like
notes. We're not gonna repeat that.
Yeah.
It's one time only.
I'm glad we covered the important general questions.
Yeah, very important.
And so I think maybe we could just get into a little bit of a discussion about.
I guess it feels kind of awkward. I'm like, I did this outline, because I'm going to cover some really crazy stuff, and I wanted you guys to have a reference when you went home. But now that feels so forced and awful.
We were having so much fun. Doesn't
I
it seem like
know.
such a bummer now?
Does anybody? Why don't we start with questions? Because we always finish with questions, and then there's not enough time. And maybe we should be different and start with questions because they paid.
Well, yeah. And I mean, if the topic is character, anybody have a question?
It can be about anything. I don't care. You paid.
We're
It's
your
your
friends.
night. What do you want us to talk about? I didn't drink. I didn't have a vodka soda tonight. This is just me, by the way.
So imagine what it was like with the vodka sodas. It's really just fantastic.
Do you want to start with questions? Does anybody have a question, like, eagerly, or do you want me to launch into my shtickola?
Anyone? Oh,
What?
yes.
Yes,
Nice.
thank
Woo!
you.
I'm excited. Oh, you need a microphone.
Awesome.
So fun.
I've got an invitation to be greedy and want to get a solution to my problem. I'm writing a script, husband and wife getting divorced. I don't know how
The
dark.
script or in life?
Well, I've been through the life part. I'm writing the script now.
Okay.
At any rate, I don't know how to paint her, and I don't want to paint her as dark as my ex-wife. But I mean, I want to know how far to go.
Right. Wow. Well,
Yeah. Do you have an? I mean, I know that's very vague, but if you want to ask me a question or two, I'll give.
what's
it
the tone? What genre?
It
Comedy?
is
Dark comedy?
It is not really dark comedy. It's I
horror
started out
movie?
with I started out with a dramatic piece that's based on my divorce, and ended up turning it into a romantic comedy because I thought that would be more saleable. the reason that I'm writing this, I was writing another screenplay that I'm very passionate about. Somebody heard this concept. They said, "This is so commercial. You got to write it now. Get it done. Get it out there.
Okay.
It'll sell." And so
How
I'm
dark is too
enjoying it
dark?
now.
Is that what you're asking? How dark is too dark?
Yeah.
Yeah, how
for-
dark's okay. There's no answer for that. That's really like what you're good at. Where you shine as a writer. You want to go there. If you're better as you get darker, go darker. Don't worry about. You know what I mean? Wherever your imagination goes, that's where you want to.
Maybe another way
that's
to
what
put the
you wanna
question is, how
mine.
dark can you get in a when you're trying to stick to the genre of?
I don't
of
believe in genres.
romantic comedy.
I don't. I don't
Okay.
think you should write for market ever. I
So
think
tell
you should
your
write for
story.
yourself. Tell your
Tell your
story.
story.
Write the best script
Thank
you
you.
can do. Make it really entertaining. If you are worried about market, you will be too late.
Way
you
cool.
can never chase market.
Thank you.
never. It's too hard. It's too hard. It's too hard to do. Yeah. I'd like somebody to do a question in interpretive dance at some point, if that's possible. Thank you. Just think about that.
Sorry, what about with spec scripts for TVs? I was told recently, because I do a lot of crime and procedural, and someone said, no, procedural's over, get over it. I mean, should you still stick to what you like to write, or should you?
Absolutely. I mean, if procedurals floats your boat and you have a way to crack procedurals and you have to go for it. I think if you're good at something, it's like write to your weaknesses. That you have to write to your strengths. If you love that and you're turned on by that, enthusiasm is gold, and enthusiasm will carry you through that horrible, lonely, dry, dark period when you don't have a sale yet, or you don't have a job yet, and all you have is your curiosity and your enthusiasm, and that's where you should all be going, hopefully, for your ideas. F if it's commercial or not. Mine yourself. That's gold. So I always kind of grimace at these crazy things that people say about what to write and what not to write. Write what you're good at, write what you love, write what you're curious about. Go for it.
Okay. Can I ask one more quick one?
No.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Sorry. How is it? So often you meet people and they hear you've got a spec and they'll say, "Oh, I'll read it," and then you don't hear anything. Or they'll say, "Ring my assistant," and then you can't get past the assistant. I
Yeah.
mean, is that just it, or is it me?
Well, you have to find out if the script's good or not. I mean, this is the hardest thing, is getting real, genuine feedback. And I always pay for feedback because I hate reading people's stuff for a lot of reasons. It's not personal. It's hard to read scripts, and we all dread it. Everybody in this business, it's the first thing you start to dread in this business is reading other people's material, unfortunately, because 95% of it is bad. Is that too high, Joy? There's a there's a manager in the audience. Oh, I shouldn't say. Yeah. So it's tricky. Are you sure it's good? And I used to recommend Scriptshark. If anybody's had a bad experience, please tell me. But I like script coverage services as a kind of objective way to get your scripts right. I don't think there's any shame in that at all. If you can't get in a writing class or get feedback, it's hard. It's really hard to get good feedback in this business. I sympathize. It's really challenging. So any way you can get it, in a class or paying for it.
Okay.
do.
So Scriptshark and any others?
There used to be some people who did coverage for pay, and they don't do it anymore. But there are usually some good people who work for the studios or work for the agencies who you can pay, who are around, who you can pay to read your scripts, and it's anywhere. It used to be $75. I have a feeling it's somewhere between like $150 and $300 now.
Wow. Okay.
But it's well worth it. You're going to get genuine feedback, and they're making money. It's clean.
Okay. Excellent. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thanks. Nice. I like all these questions. Yes.
I was here for Audrey Wells. I was here for Audrey Wells. She said when she begins to write, she writes based on theme. That every writer has something. What do you write?
I think that's true. I think every writer does have something that they are working out. You're all working stuff out. So you can be conscious about it or unconscious about it. I try to do it consciously, although sometimes I trick myself. Themes for me, a theme for me is something that really lights you up, the thing that gets you pissed off, the thing that makes you stay on the news when you're watching Oprah, the thing that makes you cry, the thing that gets you animated. This is good information for you as a writer. The thing that makes you riveted, curious, the thing that makes you embarrassed, the thing that makes you uncomfortable. All these things are gold for you as writers. You need to go there. And whether it's a dark place, a happy place, a sad place, these are all, good things. So a theme for me is I hate unfairness. I fucking hate it, hate it, hate it. I hate it when things are unfair. I will fight, to the death, even a losing battle when something's unfair. Yes. I'll take the stupid fight. I'll fight the big bully and get a black eye because it drives me crazy. And so I'd rather go down swinging than believe in my mind that there's nobody willing to fight unfairness. I can't deal with that. So whether it's Cheers getting stolen and another squad getting rewarded, I'll Bring It On. And by the way, for a long time working in hip hop, I thought that there was a lot of illegal sampling happening in hip hop very early on, and a lot of blues artists and artists who were not getting paid for the use of their material. And I just thought that is just totally wrong. And these record companies are making fortunes, so little things like that. I tend to be a real bloodhound for those themes. And in gymnastics too, I was a huge gymnastics fan, and these girls would get deducted. It's the things you're a geek about that you're kind of embarrassed. Like I wouldn't go to a cocktail party and go, "Hey, that Chinese team got deducted for baggy leotards. It was really bad. I'm really upset about it." Like, it's the stuff you're a geek about that's where you have the fuel, to write from. So injustice, unfairness. Dana, do I have other themes?
I'm thinking of now my own. I think just hearing you say that, you just know what your own issues are, and a lot of times they come from your family or what. One of mine is sort of like figuring out a way to find beauty and love past deep dysfunction. And that's just something that I love. I had a weird family. My parents had a weird marriage, broke up, moved into separate houses for 8 years, moved back together, never got a divorce, kind of hate each other, kind of love each other. Who knows? But so for me, that was what family was. So those are the themes that I like to explore. So
Yeah.
too much.
No, it was just right. It's just right. Yeah, I think those are definitely know what lights you up as a writer. You know, I think that's important. But sometimes you find your theme too. Sometimes you come in through character and theme comes later.